We have a word problem. It says Ann Proctor won the 2007 World Water Ski Racing Championship in her category. When she finished the 88-kilometer course in 51.23 minutes, what was her average speed in miles per hour? Hint, 1 kilometer equals 0.62 miles. So here we're going to have to set up our own multiplication problem. So we're going to be multiplying rational expressions, which is really, we're doing conversions. So it says she ran 88 kilometers in 51.23 minutes. Now, if we look at this, our ultimate goal is we're trying to get an answer that's in, this is supposed to be an answer, miles per hour, right? So we have to see, how can I get from kilometers per minute to miles per hour? Well, let's start with our hint. So our hint tells us 1 kilometer for every 0.62 miles. Well, when I look in the hint, I have kilometers per miles. So in this one, I have kilometers per minute. So I can go ahead and get these kilometers to cancel. So I'm going to multiply this by, and I'm gonna put my 1 kilometer at the bottom, and I'm gonna put the 0.62 miles at the top. What does this do? Well, I know my answer needs to be in miles per hour. So my miles, my unit of my miles is set. It's set in my numerator, so I need that to stay. Got it? My kilometers, those units can cancel each other out. Just the kilometers, not the numbers, but the unit of kilometers. So now if I were to multiply this all, I would end up with miles per minute, right? But I need this to be miles per hour. So I'm going to multiply this by what? Well, I need it to be hours so I can convert minutes to hours, right? How many minutes are in an hour? Well, I'm gonna put 60 minutes at the top per 1 hour. And so now my minutes and my minutes can cancel out. And now my answer is miles per hour. And so from here, I'm just basically multiplying. At the top, I'm multiplying 88 times 0.62 times 60, and all of that is in miles. Divided by, on the bottom, I have 51.23 times 1 times 1, and that's in hours. So now my answer is in miles per hour. When I multiply everything at the top, I end up with 3,273.6 miles for every 51.23 hours. And then if you put that in your calculator, it can reduce, and it's going to reduce to 63.9 miles per hour. So when Ann Proctor was doing her water ski race, her average was 63.9 miles for every hour. So she had to be going pretty fast. That's not even a mile per minute. Everybody got it? All right. Now we're coming down to dividing rational expressions. The definition says to divide rational expressions, multiply by the reciprocal of the divisor and then simplify. So if you remember back in elementary, you learned that when you're dividing, you're basically doing keep, change, flip, where you keep your fraction, you change your division symbol to a multiplication symbol, and then you flip that fraction, the numerator, denominator, basically do the reciprocal. So keep, change, flip. Hopefully that rings a bell. So we're gonna keep the 12c squared f over 5a squared b squared. Change our division symbol to multiplication, and we're going to flip the numerator and denominator, so 10ab comes to the top, and c squared f squared comes to the bottom. And now we're going to multiply that out. We have 12 times 10, which equals 120. Multiply, we end up with a, b, c squared, f, all over 5a squared, b squared, c squared, f squared. Everybody got that? or we can divide 120 divided by 5. Hopefully, when you divide it, you ended up getting 24. Then we subtract. On the A, we're doing 1 minus 2. The B is 1 minus 2. C squared, both of them the same, they end up canceling. On the F, we have 1 minus 2. And so that reduces to 24, A to the negative 1, B to the negative 1, and F to the negative 1. Whew, that's a lot. We cannot have all those negative exponents, so we're going to have to move all 3 of those to the bottom. And so your final answer is 24 stays at the top. A, B, F comes to the bottom. And so that is your final answer. Got it? Pause it and go back if you need to. All right, you can pause this if you want to and try it on your own, or you can walk through it. So we're gonna keep 3xy squared over 8. We're gonna change that division symbol to a multiplication symbol. And we're gonna flip 6xy, so this is over an invisible 1, right? So 1 comes to the top, 6xy comes to the bottom, and then we multiply. We end up with 3xy squared at the top. At the bottom, 48xy. So we have 3 over 48, which can reduce because both of them are divisible by 3. And so that reduces to 1 over 16. Then our x's, x and x, that's basically 1 minus 1 is 0. Anything that is 0 is 1, so that can be crossed out. On the y's, we subtract 2 minus 1, which is 1. So our final answer is y is at the top and 16 is at the bottom. If you want to write 1y, like keep the coefficient of 1y, you can, but it's easier just to say y over 16. All right, and our final problem, ooh, it looks fun. We're gonna have to do some factoring. So let's find the factors. The first one, that is not a perfect square. So we're gonna have to do our T-chart with this x squared plus 6x minus 27 and see which factors of negative 27 can get us to 6x. Hopefully you've gone through your plethora of everything and you realize that it's going to be 9 times 3. One sign's going to be at the positive, one's going to have to be a negative. In order for us to get a positive 6, we're going to have to subtract 9 minus 3 to get to 6x. So 9 and a negative 3 are the 2 factors that will work for this problem. So that means this numerator is going to become x plus 9 and x minus 3. Got it? Over here, we're going to have to factor this. So which factors of 18 can get us to equal 11x? And so hopefully when you went through that, you know 9 times 2 is 18, and 9 plus 2 is going to get you to 11. So those are the 2 factors we're using. Both of the signs are positive, so that's good. We just have x plus 9 and x plus 2. And of course, if I'm going too fast with my factoring, just because I could do it a little faster than you, you can pause it and try and factor it on your own and then press play. Now remember, we're going to change the symbol. So we kept the first fraction. We're going to change that division to a multiplication sign, and then we're going to flip these two. So the x minus 3 is going to come to the bottom, and then the x squared plus x minus 2 is going to come to the top, but I'm going to have to factor that. And that one's going to be easy because there's only one factor. I mean, 2 is a prime number, so there's only one factor, 1 times 2. And so I know in order to get a positive 2x, that means 2 has to be a positive. So it's x plus 2 and x minus 1. Because 2 times negative 1 will get you to negative 2. And now let's multiply, but we see this x plus 9 can cancel each other out. What else do you see? X minus 3 can cancel each other out. X plus 2, those 2 cancel out because they divide and become 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. And so that leaves us with our final answer, which is x minus 1. There we go. That sums up 11.4. In the back of your packet, we're doing 11.5 tomorrow. you're doing 11-4 practice, and you're doing the even numbers. Does everybody hear that? You are doing the even numbers. It's written on the board, and the sub will let you know. Thank you.